Hello, everybody. We are live. We are the Mad Scientists, and we're back. This is Mad Frankie, me. This is Violet Igor. Over there. The Mad Scientists.
The Mad Scientists.
Here we go. Da, 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 da.
That's a nice one. Okay.
Okay.
I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. This is tissue texture. So today we're using tissue. So I've got a lot of tissue that's crumpling up. It's left over from some gel printing. So there's bits of gel print on it. It doesn't matter. I'll incorporate it somehow. And I've just been crumpling it up. So I've got another one ready that's been cooked. We sat there and did it this morning. So, and I've also cooked it with the this thing, heat gun. Words are hard. So that's ready to go. So we can play with that in a minute. I just want to show you how I was doing it, but I want to see if I can do it a bit more deliberately, because that I just put that lot on. Yeah, there's a bit there. It was a bit space missing there. Put a bit there. You know, it wasn't thinking about what it was going to be. So if we think about what it's going to be, we might do something a bit more deliberate. If I put that way up, that's less obvious. So I've got here some modelling paste, high density. For the other one, I used basic, bog standard, £5 pot of gesso. I didn't use the whole pot. I just put gesso on, put the tissue, added a bit more gesso when it wasn't quite enough, put more on the top, you know, amalgamated it in. So if we've got this piece, let's scrunch it up a bit more and think about what we want to do. I'm not sure what I want to do, so it doesn't really matter, but let's try and make some shapes out of it. Let's try and make this going somewhere. Sort of twisty round, maybe? How about twisty round? Yeah, let's see if we can make a twisty round bit. All right, so let's put some plaster down. This is a nice gloopy one. I've been looking through all my plasters, and I've got various plasters like the ones you use on the wall. And unfortunately, I hadn't looked at that for a while, so it needed a bit more water and some mixing up. So I've set that aside. I've done the same with this one, which was Daleroni texture paste. That was also looking a bit stiff, and I had to throw some pieces away, but that's amalgamating nicely now. But this one is lovely and gloopy and ready to use. You can see it quivering on the edge of the... Way, there it goes, bloop. So that's usable right now, okay? So let's get some out on the back of the spatula and put some down. Spatula, palette knife. Same difference, they're all the same sort of thing. So we'll give it something to cling on to. Right, so this is this acrylic? They usually are. It doesn't actually say there. It probably says somewhere further in. But the text is so small I can't read it. I don't know whether you could look it up. It's the Pabeo one, Studio Acrylics.
Okay.
Paste, high density. It doesn't say on the big words.
I'll take a look.
Thank you. My sidekick. My Igor. Right, so let's put this all over so we've got some room. I really need the flatter one, which is not apparently around here. Unless that one? Well, maybe that one's a bit better. I like the long one. Sorry?
Show me the jar again.
Sorry, hang on a sec.
Okay.
Get this off.
Okay.
I just want to wipe it clean. It's
there you go.
Pabeo Studio Acrylics. Oh, it's acrylics, you see. There we are, acrylics.
Right? Yeah.
Duh. Okay, so it's acrylic. We figured it out eventually. Well, Dumbo had to read it again. Oh, I don't know. Talk about
yeah, okay.
Can't read, can't see, don't take anything into me head. That's what my teachers always used to say about me, so they were right. So let's smidge this in. And to help the shape, we'll put a bit on top as well. Because it's nice and sort of quite liquidy, so that's okay. And you can use acrylic gesso when you're doing watercolor. We've tried it before, haven't we? And it works, but it just things run away from it a bit in watercolor. But you can always put some watercolor ground over the top. Right, so let's have another bit.
So you can use this, you can get a crackle effect with this.
Yeah, that's what we're going for. Well, not exactly crackle effect, more like a crinkle effect.
Okay.
That one, I think, was glassine, so it's not quite the right sort of paper. And maybe not glassine, but that kind of thing, more glassy. This is more like tissue with the nice soft edge on one side. So let's do that. So I'm crunching it up this way to try and get the lines going in that direction, right? But I do want some going the other way as well. So we'll scrunch it up like that too. Right. Now we'll put this, I don't know, we'll put it there. Underneath there. Now this is on a board, not a board, a block, that's the word. So it's glued down on all four edges, so it's not going to curl up so much.
A block as in like a watercolor paper block?
Yeah, exactly. It's
right.
It's this one. It's the Langton. It's 300 GSM, 140 pounds. Acid-free, cold pressed, not grain fine. There you go. Not that it really matters all that much when you're putting texture on anyway. So this is quite lumpy. Look at that. I mean, it's pretty lumpy, but we've got to squish it down a bit. Otherwise, we're not going to get any watercolor traveling along the lines. We're going to get it trapped in a pool. Probably will anyway, the way I do things. I've not. No idea. But we're only playing, so I mean, this is how you get experience with watercolor and tissue and blocks. And if you don't play with it, you'll never know.
Right.
All you'll know is what the words say. You won't know what it's like yourself.
Yep, just
personal experience.
Break out of the box and experiment and throw it down and see what sticks.
Exactly. We're throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. As long as it isn't spaghetti, I think we're all right. So, squishing it down. You can drag it a bit when you've squished it down, but a bit more on top, I think, because this is going to give some body to it anyway. And where I've got that blue, if I put some on top, I may get a better result from the resultant watercolors afterwards. I'm trying not to leave any on my paper. So I've got it here, and I'm trying not to leave it on the paper. It keeps getting wiped off on the paper, but we go. So. Lift that up so it's not down below, so I can put it to the edge like that. See, even if I don't use tissue, I've still got some texture from this stuff as well. And it's going to take quite a while to dry this because I'm putting it on quite lavishly.
Right, yes. In
But then
fact,
you need a fair bit to be able to sort of sink the tissue into it so that something's there to grab hold of it.
the to get back into the box of how to use this, the Pebeo site says to put down a thin layer of this, thin enough that it would be dry in about 15 minutes. So that's your base coat. And then come back and put on a heavier, thicker, more textured layer. So that's what the box says.
Oh, blow the box. We're experimenting.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to clarify. That's what the box says. We're outside the box.
Oh, yeah.
You do you.
So I've turned it. I mean, I used it on this side when I used it for printing, gel press printing. So the shiny colour is on the shiny side. So turn it over. I'm going to stick that there.
See, now I'm going even farther outside the box watching you do this.
Oh, yeah?
Are you leaving that down there?
Yeah. That's why I'm using the plaster, to make sure it sticks down. This other one's stuck down. That's got the tissue embedded in the gesso.
That's what I wanted to know. Very cool. Very cool.
That's what the idea is.
Yeah. So you're using the modeling paste or the gesso as
A glue.
an adhesive.
Yeah.
Very cool. Out of that box, lady.
I was kind of hoping to get some textures going this way, but I seem to have them going that way on the bottom of this. And you see these lines going this way, so I'm going to try and move it up. Now, I did use some rice paper in the one above, but I found with that, the moment you got it wet, it began to tear. So you've got to really put it on and then just leave it there. But this one, you can actually lift up and change your mind about the direction a bit. Not much, but a bit. I like that. That's all right. Right, so we want something here. And I think I want something a little bit thinner than this, actually. So I'm going to just roughly tear it halfway down. Very roughly, because it doesn't really want to tear in a straight line, so that's all to the good. So if I put it down this way round with the line at that side, and then squidgy widgykins. I didn't actually crush this one, but that's all right. I'm going to get lines in it anyway. I haven't got any so much on there. Anything like enough. Just want to get that last bit in there. Make
And,
sure it's got something to stick to.
and when you say tissue paper, are you talking about like nose wipes or
No, I'm
bathroom?
talking about the remnants of printing. So it will be the Wet Strength
Carnival.
Carnival. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
A little bit there. Some just up here because we've got this round sunlight thing here. Only probably won't turn out to be a sunlight thing, but it's there. So let's put some on this bit here, which hasn't got any yet. I think we'd better turn that round to have a look at what we're doing a bit better. Oh, getting some on there. Don't forget this is on a block, so we've got to try and keep that edge clean because we want to cut it out of this block when we're finished. So if we don't have it clean, it's going to be a bit difficult. So where's my tissue? Just going to pop that there. I think it's the other end that's the opening end, which is good, but still got to keep it clean. Yes, this is the open edge with a little gap for opening. Now, see, I've made a ridge. I'll make another little ridge. So this will probably take until tomorrow to dry.
I would think at least.
Where's a pair of scissors? Here we are, a pair of scissors. Now, either I can get that sugared along and bunched up a bit like that so I can get some more in, or I'll have to cut it. I'm hoping I can get it bunched up. Maybe I can. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's better than cutting it, I think. A little bit in that hollow, a bit there where it's loose, and I think that's about it. Lovely. Right. So, scrape off my excess. Try and keep the pot clean. And clean off your tools. Put the lid on so it doesn't all go funny. So I'm going to try on that one because I only got gesso on itself. But this one may need some gesso on top or it may not. But we've got a kind of idea of something going up here and something across and then something up here and something round there, hopefully. So we've got some ideas and we've got a smooth patch here from the plaster. We'll see what happens. You can always sand bits down when you're finished, but I mean, before you start with the watercolour, but it's going to be a bit difficult on the tissue itself, but on the plaster you could. Okay, we'll put that aside to dry. What was that? Oh, it's me pulling this across. Pop it down to dry. Get rid of my heat gun because I don't need it now. Get rid of that. Finished with that and that sheet. And then these two can sit still and behave themselves like good children. And there we have the one I did earlier. Blue Peter is king.
What does that mean?
Well, the UK people would know what I meant. Because whenever you had a Blue Peter demonstration on Blue Peter children's show, they would show you how to make something, and it would be all wet and sort of sticky from the glue and stuff. And then they'd bring on one they'd made earlier to show you how it could look when it was finished. So here's one I made earlier, Blue Peter. Okay, so I've got this. Now, what am I going to put on it? Well, we've got the... I quite fancy using these. Now, I had some Roman schmalls. There were about that many. And I had a thing for it. Don't know what I've done with it. I took it out because it was no longer of use because I changed everything and added more and did another one for the other one. So this one was where it was, but I've now put the Hordam in there, the Schminky in that one. So now I've got this one. And that piece keeps falling off, but it was off that one over there. So now I've got it all laid out. And I know where I am, hopefully. So let's have a go with some watercolours. I'm going to move this over a little tiny bit so we can get that in. And see what we've got. So, if I move this where I can see it in front of me, like that, what I'm going to do is just pour, well, not pour, but dribble colour onto it and see what happens.
Just to be clear, this is acrylic modeling paste that you've put down, and you're putting not acrylic paints but watercolors over it.
Now, what this is white gesso. This one.
Okay.
This is the one I did earlier with white gesso.
White gesso and not acrylics, but watercolor. So it's not.
But it's white acrylic gesso. So it might not be the paste, but it's white acrylic gesso.
But it's not ground. It's not watercolor ground. So I'm curious how this is going to move. Yeah, how it's going to move and how the watercolor is going to move on the gesso. Or will the gesso absorb all the color?
Oh, no. Well, you remember that painting I did before where I used the leaves one, where I used...
Yes. Beautiful. I love those. Yes.
This, it's not finished, but this one, where I used acrylic gesso underneath.
Yes.
Yeah. Didn't have the watercolor ground at the time. And you got these lovely patterny bits from using various mediums. But it's still, you can still paint on it. It just sort of runs away sometimes from some patches.
Yeah, it has a different way of moving than if you had used a watercolor substrate, as in ground or watercolor.
But you could paint over this with a watercolor ground, but then I'd have to sit here and dry it for a while, and we wouldn't be able to see what would happen. So we'll try with this to start with. Okay?
No, this is why we're mad scientists. This is exactly what I wanted to know.
So I'll just find one of my 40 million brushes and see which one I want to play with today. I think I fancy that one. It's a nice shape. It's one of the Nick Pro ones. I do like the Nick Pro ones. So, yes, we'll have a go with that. And one of my little pots of water. I think this one used to be the red pepper paste. So, let's put it over here near the... What's it? So it doesn't matter which way up it is until you decide what it's looking like. So until we've got some colour on, we won't know. So let's put on. Now I put all the little magnets on these, so now I can get them out and just put them back where I like. Got some lovely colours. So I think I'm going to use some strontium violet because I like the name. And I do like in this I've got the swatches that I've done. So I've got Shadow Violet Light, and that is a wonderful, wonderful granulating. It's granulating beautifully. And so is the Misty Morning.
Yeah,
This is the Strontium Violet.
Okay.
Might have been a bit late trying to mix the water and the colour on that one. But no bother.
Well, I was looking at new watercolors, Schminkies or Roman Schmalz, and I like the Roman Schmalz.
If I had a choice between the two, I'd go for the Roman Smalls because they're not as expensive and they're just as lovely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody has an opinion, so it's like I've got to, right? You know, and if I want to paint like them or how they paint or whatever, maybe, but we'll see. And
I watched somebody. Sorry.
I think I'm a bit light-handed with watercolors, which doesn't get the effect I want. So I'm learning to dip and brush differently.
Well, what I'm doing here is I'm making a puddle.
Yes, you are.
So I can add more water to it and get more on there then. Now, if I want it stronger, I don't put so much water on it. And of course, if you put a lot of water in, no, that's not what I was going to say. I've completely lost track.
Okay, it's all right.
It'll come back to me.
It will, or it won't. If you put a lot of water in it, it doesn't.
If you put a lot of water onto this, then the tissue's going to soak some of it up, but not all of it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I've still got my spray somewhere, I think. Hello, spray. Where are you? Oh, Essex water. There you are.
It's over there.
Yeah, it is. Let me get Essex water out. I'm just a minute because I've got to rescue that pair of scissors before they fall off. That's better. So I've got my Essex water right there. See. So I can spray it more on if I want to. I want quite a bit of this strontium violet. I don't see why I shouldn't have a lot of strontium violet if I want it. I want to go moody on this. Moody and broody. So yeah, this little cold was not great, but it could have developed into flu. It had a feeling of that, but it didn't. So I'm very grateful for that.
You threw me off. You changed subjects there.
Well, I was thinking about it and how grateful I am that it didn't turn into a flu.
Yeah, well, to set the record straight, you've been down and ill with what we think is a cold and not RSV or.
No, it's nothing serious. I mean,
right.
I'm not completely right because I can feel it still there, and you can maybe hear it in my voice. I can hear it, but I'm so much better than I was. See, right. Because I'm not employed, and I kept.
Well, you're like me. You're retired.
Yeah, I'm also of retirement age, so if I had been working, I would be retired by now anyway.
Yeah, you're retired and tired. That's me too.
Yes. Old. Getting old.
I'm tired.
What day is it?
Yeah. We do that around here, Fran. With both of us retired, it's like, what's today? It's Saturday. How can you tell?
My phone says so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm rinsing this off because I want to get some of that shadow violet light. What if there's a shadow violet dark. That would be nice.
Well, you know, I see so many colors. Like Kuretake has the Art Nouveau.
Mm-hmm.
They have the sets. They call them sets. So there's Art Nouveau and warm fall or whatever. You know, they give them a name. I want one that says Gothic Steampunk.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was one called that.
Well, I don't know if there is.
Oh, you mean you want one? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I
thought you meant that you'd found one and you wanted it.
No. I want the one that's like that. If there is one that exists, if there
You
isn't,
should have rust and brass and copper and.
yeah. Now you're getting it. I mean, it's only because I play with the Kuretake graphites, and they're so nice. And I keep thinking, oh, I want more of these in other colors. But
have you tried the Derwent Graphitint?
Well, now we're talking pencils, aren't we?
No, there's a paint set.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. Yes.
I thought you told me about that.
Yes, I did. Yes. Duh. Yes, I did. You are correct.
Now, much though I'd like to have nothing but these colours, I don't think that's a good idea. I think I need to add something else to give it a bit more going for it.
Well, that's what, not too much, because I'm loving this, just as it is. If you threw in a bit of dark green, nothing too light, but like a dark green
I don't
or
think I'd want dark green, but I was thinking more like goethite. Which is this one.
Okay, let me see the color. Oh, yeah, see that one or the one down there in the corner? The one right there. See that one? Yes.
Blazo yellow. That's a strong yellow. Yeah.
Oh, no.
And I was thinking Potter's pink might be quite nice because that's a lovely granulating color as well.
No.
No? Oh.
No.
Okay.
Go ahead with the granulated, but let's keep the pink and reds out of this. We've got blue and purple, and that's enough of a red tint right there. What is this again? Name this color? Roman Schmal.
Goethite. Yeah, Roman Schmal's goethite.
Go.
Or goethite. I can't remember. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Okay. It's an earth color.
Yeah. Oh, you went there anyway.
I know.
You do you. That's
I've changed my mind. I've decided it's not strong enough. What about burnt sienna? I think burnt sienna might do it. Or quinacridone gold. I do love the strength of quinacridone gold. Let's try some of the Quin Gold. Oh, that's more what I wanted. Yes.
The gold. Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Now, it will murk when it meets the violet, but I don't care. I want that bit of strength, you know?
So that first color is more like a green-brown, sort of.
Well, it's sort of sandy brown almost.
Yeah, I love it in there. Yeah. But the gold is making it pop even more.
Yeah, I tried the Potter's pink, but it takes some working to get that one up and out. I just wanted a bit more strength there.
I'm loving this.
A little bit of contrast. See, I'm getting some greens when it's mixing with some of them.
See that? Yeah. It's almost got a velvet look to it from here. I don't know what you're seeing, but from here it's giving it a velvet look.
Is it? Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe it's just my eyes.
Getting some trickling.
It just, the whole thing reminds me when you did when you pulled the weeds and plants from outside.
Yeah.
Your living plant textures.
Yes, the grasses and that. They
Yeah.
work really well with the grasses, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really giving me a feel of that. So random. Oh, you could make more of these boards. This is beautiful. I would go with, though, if you could do this, make this board, and then take your leaf design and put it down on that. So you get
Well, you could always do your leaf design and then cut it out and put it on top if you wanted to. Or you could just do it with the make the shape that you wanted, like so you could put a leaf there with the crackle paste.
Yep.
And see what happens.
Well, I like it like it is, and then just draw leaves on there so you get the texture and the leaves at the same time.
This is quinacridone scarlet.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
Be brave. Be brave.
I just want to add some little splutty bits. To see how it mixes in with it. See, then let it mix and move about. And then I think that's enough of that one. I'll add a bit more later if I want to. Then I think I'm going back to the strontium, the shadow violet, and the misty morning, and adding some more of those. Whoops. Right in there. So this is the strontium one. Let's get a bit more of that one. To emphasize it a bit.
Beautiful.
So I'm not adding more colour, I'm just adding more paint. No different colour. Just more of what we've got. More up here.
So now I have to ask, with all this watercolor that you're putting down here on this gesso and tissue, you're not seeing any change? It's not reacting?
Well, I haven't put any mediums on. I could put some mediums on and see if anything would happen.
I don't know what you mean by that. I'm just thinking all this water that you've put
Mediums.
down has not affected the tissue or the gesso.
Texture medium. Well, it probably has. I'll just have to let it dry, won't I?
Mm-hmm. But you're not seeing any change yet, right?
No. I'm seeing where you can see where these spots are. The paint is running away from those spots, like those there. I don't know whether that's because it's got more gesso on it or what.
I see it. I see where you're pointed. Yeah.
Oh yes, I was going to get a thingy and get some texture medium and add some to there. And some to here. And some over here. A bit on there.
So what does this provide?
I don't know. I'm only using this one texture medium instead of using lots of mediums like I did last time and lost track of what was happening.
Okay.
So I'm hoping this is the one that's doing the nice bits that I liked on the last one, but we'll find out. With only using the one, it's going to be easier to find out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to mix this in a bit. It's not just a blob.
Uh-huh.
So I've only put it in the strontium violet, except I did put a little bit there, I think, and there in the yellow. A little bit there. Yes, we'll need that there. And now I want to put some more shadow violet. That's the one I want. Because it's more of a navy-ish colour. And I wanted a bit more definition there. A little bit there I have, didn't I? And a little bit there. Quite a bit over here, though. And a little bit up here. Now, I'm not putting the Misty Morning on because I think it's a bit close to the other ones we've already got. So, there we go.
You could actually, at this point, push your water and paints over and turn your palette horizontally, landscape size, so we can see a little bit more. The very top edge is missing off the screen.
Uh-huh. Try to get it to move a bit more that way. That was the gooey, wasn't it? Let's have a little bit more of that because that's gone quite pale. It would help if I washed the brush first. Oh, what a mucky pot I've got. And some up there, wasn't it? I think that's enough. So it isn't anything, but it could be anything. You know, one of those. I think it has the look of some, I don't know, dragons in the sky, maybe.
It's a beautiful abstract. I suppose if you wanted to do a collage over top of it with that being the background, you could, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm partial to it the way it is.
I quite like it like that.
Yeah.
So there we are. I mean, that's all I'm going to do to that today. Apart from perhaps bending it a bit more. Trying to stop it from turning just one way. Lovely. So that is that for that one. Got some lovely shapes in there, haven't we, really? Really lovely shapes. There we go. So we'll leave that to dry and see what happens. Remember that we put the texture paste in the strontium violet. So where we're getting nice patterning, it's probably due to that. I am seeing something happening here. Maybe here. But again, it's got to dry and we see what it looks like then. Okay. So, you've seen how we do it, or how I've done it, at least. And we'll see what happens with the texture medium. This time we'll be able to tell because I'm not using anything else. So we'll come back and we'll have a look at something else. Okay?
End of part 1.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're just going to find the little red thing.
She's got to find the little red thing. Bye-bye.
And the other little red thing. Now, bye-bye.